You know that sinking feeling when you've just sent an email or finished a task, and your brain immediately starts picking it apart, wondering if you said the wrong thing or made the wrong choice. But what if the way to stop that cycle isn't about getting more confidence or working harder, but about something much simpler and quieter that you can start using today? This video is about one specific shift, learning to separate your work decisions from your self-worth so you can stop second-guessing yourself at work. Because right now, that constant inner doubt isn't just exhausting, it's actually making it harder for you to trust your own judgment and move forward with clarity. When you begin to practice this shift, you can start to feel a little more grounded in your choices, even when things don't go perfectly. The trick isn't to silence the doubt completely, but to change how you respond to it, which is something most people get backwards. I'm going to walk you through this one change step by step in a calm and practical way that you can apply in your everyday work life. So let's start with the first thing you can do the next time that doubt shows up. Scene 1. What second-guessing yourself at work really looks like. Second-guessing yourself at work isn't just about feeling unsure. It shows up in the small moments you probably don't even notice. It's when you reread a simple email 3 times before hitting send, or when you change your answer in a meeting just because someone else spoke first. This isn't about being careful. It's a loop where you keep questioning your own judgment even after you've made a reasonable choice. You might delay sending that report because you want to check one more number even though you already checked it twice. The uncomfortable truth is that second-guessing rarely leads to better outcomes. It just drains your time and energy. Once you see this pattern clearly, you can start to understand how often you're holding yourself back for no real reason. Recognizing these small moments is the first step toward breaking the habit and trusting yourself more. So let's talk about why this matters beyond just feeling a bit stressed at your desk. Scene 2. Why this matters so much for everyday well-being. Constantly second-guessing doesn't just affect your productivity, it wears on your sense of peace and confidence over time. Each time you doubt a decision, you send a small message to your brain that your own judgment isn't reliable. Over weeks and months, that erodes the trust you have in yourself, making you more anxious and hesitant. It also makes everyday tasks feel heavier because you're carrying the mental load of rethinking everything twice. A lot of people don't realize this is a major source of workplace fatigue that has nothing to do with how hard the work actually is. The good news is that learning to stop second-guessing can free up mental space for creativity and real problem-solving. Your well-being improves when you start treating your own decisions as enough, instead of always needing outside approval. Next, let's look at what life can feel like when you finally break free from this habit. Scene 3. What life looks like when this is missing. Imagine walking into a meeting and sharing your idea without that sinking feeling of wondering if it's good enough. You send an email or approve a task and actually move on to the next thing instead of replaying the decision in your head. When second-guessing isn't running the show, you trust your preparation and know that a small mistake will not be the end of the world. Your coworkers see you as more confident because you speak with clarity, not because you're never wrong. The reality is that you'll still make mistakes, but they will not shake your core belief in your own ability. You gain back hours of mental energy that used to go into worrying about things you already handled well. It's a lighter, more present way of working where you can actually enjoy what you do. To get there, we first need to understand the common patterns that keep the second-guessing alive. Scene 4. The common habits, patterns, and beliefs that block this. One big habit is overanalyzing. You gather more information than you need, hoping it will erase all uncertainty. Another pattern is seeking reassurance from others before you commit, even on small decisions you already know the answer to. There's also the belief that being perfect means never making a wrong call, which sets an impossible standard. Many people also fall into the trap of comparing themselves to colleagues who seem to decide quickly, which only fuels more doubt. The tricky part is these habits feel productive in the moment, but they actually keep you stuck in a loop of insecurity. It's not about changing your whole personality, just noticing which of these patterns shows up most often for you. Once you see the pattern, you can start catching yourself before the cycle deepens. The first real shift happens in your mindset, which we'll explore right now. Use Scene 5, the first mindset shift you need to make. The most important mindset shift is moving from I need to be certain to I can handle whatever happens after I decide. Certainty is rarely possible in a fast-paced work environment, so waiting for it only keeps you stuck. Instead, focus on making a good enough decision based on what you know right now and trust your ability to adjust later. This shift takes the pressure off being right every single time and puts the value on action and learning. A lot of people resist this because they think it means lowering their standards, but it actually raises your effectiveness. When you stop demanding certainty, you free yourself to move forward with less anxiety and more momentum. Remind yourself that your track record so far shows you handled things, even when you weren't fully sure. With that new mindset, you're ready for the first practical step that makes this shift real in your daily work. After Scene 6, the first practical step to begin changing this. The first practical step is to set a simple decision time limit. Give yourself a clear boundary before you must move on. For example, if you're choosing a subject line for an email, give yourself 30 seconds and then send it. The goal isn't to be impulsive, but to practice making a choice and letting it go without revisiting it. Start with low-stakes decisions, like which font to use or what time to schedule a meeting, so the fear of being wrong is small. Most people will feel a little uncomfortable at first, and that's a good sign you're breaking the old habit. Each time you stick to your time limit, you prove to yourself that you can decide and keep moving. Over a week, try this with 3 small decisions a day and notice how your confidence starts to build. Once this feels natural, you can gradually apply the same approach to bigger work choices, which we'll talk about next. Let's picture what it actually looks like when you stop second-guessing yourself at work. It's not about being loud or always right, it's about moving through your day with a quiet sense of sureness. You send that email after one quick review instead of reading it 5 times and rewriting half of it. When someone asks for your input in a meeting, you give your honest opinion without adding a disclaimer afterward. You still feel nervous sometimes, but you don't let that feeling talk you out of acting. The biggest shift is that your energy goes into your actual work instead of into endless loops of doubt. It feels like you're finally trusting the competence you've already earned. Once you have that picture in mind, it gets easier to see what kind of small habit can help you get there. One reliable practice is to set a simple decision deadline for yourself at the start of each task. You decide in advance how much time you'll spend weighing a choice before you act on it. For example, tell yourself, I will spend 2 minutes deciding if this response is good enough, and then I'll send it. This turns an open-ended worry into a contained, manageable step. The key is to stick to your own deadline, even when the urge to second-guess pops up. Over time, you train your brain to stop looking for perfect certainty and start looking for good enough. It's a small boundary that gives you permission to move forward without the usual anxiety. This habit works best when you pair it with understanding a common mistake that could trip you up. A lot of people try to stop second-guessing by forcing themselves to be 100% confident all the time. That's unrealistic and actually backfires because nobody feels sure about everything. Instead of pushing doubt away completely, the real trick is learning to act while the doubt is still there. When you demand total certainty, you end up waiting for a feeling that rarely arrives. That waiting becomes its own form of second-guessing, just disguised as patience. The mistake is treating doubt as a sign you're not ready, when really it's just a normal part of making decisions. So give yourself permission to feel unsure and still take the next step anyway. Once you stop fighting the doubt, the whole process starts to feel a lot less overwhelming. If this idea of catching yourself before you second-guess felt useful, take a moment to reflect. What's one small situation at work where you could pause and trust your first instinct this week? Drop that in the comments. I'd love to hear what comes to mind. And if this video resonated with you, hitting the like button helps others find it too. Subscribing to Happy Life Tribe means you'll get more gentle, practical steps like these. We're all learning to quiet that inner critic together, one moment at a time. Stick around for the rest of the video if you haven't finished, or watch something else from the channel next. Thanks for being here. Your effort to grow really does count. To keep this change realistic, start with one low-stakes decision each day where you commit to moving forward fast. Choose something that will not cause major problems if it's not perfect, like replying to a routine email. Practice making a quick call and then noticing that the world didn't fall apart. This builds small evidence for your brain that you don't need all the extra deliberation. It's much easier to expand that habit into bigger decisions once you've had a few small wins. The goal isn't to become a different person overnight, it's to prove to yourself that you can survive a little uncertainty. When you break it down into tiny experiments, the whole idea stops feeling so huge. And as you get more comfortable, you'll notice some real emotional shifts happening beneath the surface. As you second-guess less, one of the first things you'll notice is a drop in that nagging mental fatigue. The endless replays and revisions in your head start to quiet down, leaving you with more mental space. You might also feel a bit lighter because you're no longer carrying the weight of decisions you never fully made. Your self-trust begins to grow slowly, like a muscle that gets stronger each time you act without overthinking. You'll still feel stressed, but it will not be the same kind of exhausting circular doubt. Instead, you'll have more energy for the parts of work that actually matter to you. That emotional shift makes it easier to keep going, even when life gets chaotic. But staying on track does require a simple strategy for those busy weeks when everything feels urgent. When your schedule fills up and stress spikes, it's easy to fall back into old second-guessing habits. To keep momentum, create a short decision rule for yourself during busy periods, like ask once, trust once, move on. This gives you a clear anchor to hold on to when your mind wants to spiral. Also, remind yourself that a good decision made quickly is often better than a perfect one made too late. Busy moments are exactly when your practice matters most, because they test whether the habit has stuck. You don't have to be perfect, just consistent enough to notice when you're drifting and gently pull yourself back. A quick reset can be as simple as taking one deep breath and choosing to act without extra review. That small move will carry you into the next part of this journey, where we'll talk about how to handle the inevitable setbacks. Over time, this shift starts to change how you move through your entire workday. You stop feeling like every decision is a test of your worth, which frees up a lot of mental energy. Instead of replaying conversations in your head, you start trusting that you handled them well enough. You might notice you speak up more in meetings because the fear of being wrong loses its grip on you. This doesn't mean you become perfect or never doubt yourself again, but the doubt becomes quieter and less frequent. The real benefit is that you start enjoying your work more because you're not constantly fighting with yourself. You begin to see mistakes as normal parts of learning rather than signs that you don't belong. This gradual change builds a foundation of quiet confidence that stays with you even on hard days. Even after you've made real progress, there will still be days when second guessing comes rushing back. A tough performance review, a big project, or a critical comment from a boss can trigger that old familiar doubt. You might find yourself lying awake at night, replaying a single email or conversation over and over again. This is not a sign that you failed or that the change didn't work, it's just how the human brain reacts to stress. The challenge is that these moments can feel like starting from square one, even when you've come so far. But the difference now is that you recognize what's happening instead of getting lost in it completely. You have the tools to notice the pattern and gently guide yourself back to a calmer place. These setbacks become shorter and less intense each time you work through them. If you want to keep building that sense of calm and confidence at work, there's a place where you can find more support. Head over to www.happylifetribe.com whenever you're ready. It's full of simple, down-to-earth ideas that fit right into your daily routine. You'll find encouragement for moments when your mind starts second-guessing and you need a gentle nudge. The site is built around calm living inspiration and mindful lifestyle guidance, not pressure or perfection. Think of it as a quiet corner you can visit to recharge your intention to live with more ease. There's no rush, just real, practical content to help you slow down and trust yourself more. Feel free to explore and take whatever feels helpful for your own journey. When you notice yourself slipping back into second guessing, the first step is to pause without judging yourself. Take a slow breath and remind yourself that this is a normal part of the process, not a personal failure. Then ask yourself one simple question. What is one small thing I can trust myself on right now? It could be something as simple as trusting that you wrote a clear email or that you made a reasonable choice earlier today. This small act of self-trust helps break the cycle and reminds your brain that you are capable. After that, try to shift your focus to what you can do next instead of what you might have done wrong. The goal is not to erase doubt completely, but to keep moving forward despite it. Each time you recover like this, you build a little more resilience for the next time doubt shows up. This topic helps anyone who has ever felt like they are not quite good enough at their job. It is especially useful for people who are early in their career and still learning how to trust their own judgment. But it also helps experienced professionals who have been successful for years but still struggle with imposter syndrome. If you often ask for reassurance before making decisions or wait for others to confirm your ideas, this is for you. It helps people who are highly conscientious and care deeply about doing good work, because that care can turn into overthinking. The reason it helps so many is that second guessing is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you hold yourself to high standards. Learning to manage it allows you to keep those standards without the emotional exhaustion that often comes with them. No matter your role or experience level, this shift can make your work life feel lighter and more sustainable. If you want to start this change today, begin with one small decision you have been putting off. Choose something low stakes, like replying to an email or choosing a direction for a minor task. Make the decision quickly, without asking anyone else for input, and then commit to it fully. After you do, notice how it feels to trust yourself, even if it is just for that one moment. Then, at the end of the day, write down one thing you decided on your own and remind yourself that it was enough. Repeat this process tomorrow with another small decision and let the practice build naturally over time. You do not need to overhaul your entire mindset in one day. Just take one small step forward. The action itself is what teaches your brain that you can be trusted, and that trust grows with every decision you make. Learning to stop second-guessing yourself at work is not about becoming fearless or never doubting again. It is about building a kinder, more trusting relationship with the person you spend all day with, yourself. Every time you choose to trust your own judgment, you are telling your brain that you are safe and capable. This change does not happen overnight, but each small step forward makes the next one a little easier. You will still have hard days, but you will also have more days where you feel steady and clear. The work you do matters, and so does the peace you bring to doing it. You already have what it takes to make good decisions. You just need to practice letting yourself believe that. So start today with one small choice and trust that you are exactly where you need to be. As you close out this video, I hope you feel a little lighter about the way you talk to yourself at work. Remember, second guessing is just a habit your mind picked up, and habits can shift with gentle practice. You don't need to be perfect overnight. Just take small moments to pause and trust your own decisions. If this video helped you, consider liking it and subscribing to Happy Life Tribe so we can keep walking this path together. For more encouragement and practical ideas, you can always visit www.happylifetribe.com. There you'll find a community built on support, calm living inspiration, and mindful lifestyle guidance. You're doing the real work of building a happier, more grounded life, and that matters. Keep going at your own pace, and I'll see you in the next video.